Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com with the latest from the climate religion. Catherine Resistor tweeted this yesterday. Denver hit #1 for the worst air quality in the world right now. This is caused by the wildfires in the west. We've been advised to not go outside and keep windows closed. This is a direct result of climate change, and no one will convince me otherwise. Climate change is real. So let's look at a satellite photo yesterday of the western U.S. to see what's going on. That's Baja California. Some smoke from California drifted across the southwest and got caught up in an unusual circulation pattern along the Front Range. Yesterday was an unusually cool day in Denver and Cheyenne. I took the dogs hiking in the mountains here yesterday morning. It was the first time in about 8 weeks which I've had to wear a jacket because it was pretty cool outside. We climbed up a mountain in the Laramie Range, and you can see that there was a lot of very fine smoke in the air. This was Kyrie enjoying herself at the top of the mountain. The smoke came from fires more than 1,000 miles away, and it didn't smell smoky at all. And it certainly wasn't bothering my lungs. We spent the morning mountain climbing, and then we went down to Denver shopping and had dinner outside at a really nice restaurant. When we first started hiking, I wasn't even sure whether what I was seeing was smoke or fog. We met with a lot of people in Denver yesterday, and nobody even commented about the air quality. The main thing the smoke was doing was blocking the sun and keeping the temperature down. It was actually a fantastic day. I doubt that very many people stayed inside because of the smoke. Now let's look at what's actually going on in Colorado. They've had so much rain that Interstate 70 is shut down indefinitely. Last week there was 4 inches of rain in Glenwood Canyon, and mudslides have covered the interstate. Poudre Canyon west of Fort Collins has had 3 flash floods in the last 2 weeks. Every summer we get smoke from forest fires. Here's an article from the New York Times, December 1st, 1992. Thomas Swetnam and co-workers have discovered that major conflagrations sweeping across many mountain ranges in California and the Southwest are a common feature, occurring at least twice a decade and apparently linked to oceanic currents much farther south, these so-called La Nina events that often result in droughts. Finding this synchronicity in fire events was a big surprise to us, he said. It tells me that western landscapes in pre-settlement era were very smoky places. According to the U.S. government, in the conterminous United States during the pre-industrial period from 1500 to 1800, an average of 145 million acres burned annually. Today, only 14 million acres, federal and non-federal, are burned annually. So far this year, 3.5 million acres have burned, which is a little more than 2% of the pre-industrial average. This year's burn acreage is also well below the 10-year average. In 1930 and 1931, more than 50 million acres burned, but this year it's been about 3.5 million, one of the lowest on record so far. But the real travesty here is that climate alarmists don't understand that fire is an essential part of the forest cycle. There was a huge fire last year in Wyoming and Colorado, which was advertised as the largest fire on record in Colorado, and this is what the burn area looked like 2 weeks ago. Lodgepole pine cones require very high heat to open up. In other words, survival of the lodgepole pine species depends on very large fires. What Catherine Resistor is saying is absolutely true. No evidence will convince her otherwise. She's a classic religious zealot who's not interested in fact, and it's impossible to change her mind. The climate change religion is indeed real. G.K. Chesterton said, "When men choose not to believe in God, they do not thereafter believe in nothing. They then become capable of believing in anything." Toto has been investigating this religion for the past 13 years. You can visit him, Kyrie, and Caesar on the web at realclimatescience.com.